This episode of On the Line is presented to you by Living.Fit, your one stop for all your fitness needs. Make sure you go download the app Living.Fit today. Now here's the show. Welcome to On the Line. Today is Tuesday, April 5th. We've got a great show for you guys today with Julio Arce. Congratulations to the Kansas Jayhawks for being national champions. I'm recording this today before, but they're going to win. You heard it here first. Anyway, if you're listening on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Listen on Apple, Spotify, Deezer, Stitcher, whatever other podcasting platforms you listen to. Hit that follow. Maybe leave a review. But anyway, Julio Arce on the program before his big fight at UFC 273. We talk a lot about his opponents, Song Yadong, talk about anime, a lot about the Will Smith thing, which is because we filmed it literally like the day after. So before we get into Julio Arce, just let you know, like literally the first 5 minutes is just us shooting the shit about Will Smith. Then we get talking about everything else. But anyway, without further ado, here is Julio Arce.
Jada, and then Will Smith comes in. He's like, "Keep your wife's name out your fucking mouth." Yo, the memes are freaking crazy, but it's like he's a comedian. It's like that's what he's gonna do. It's
we were overdue for a moment like this too, where it just completely takes the world by storm. We haven't had one of these in a while. Like we're way overdue for this.
Oh yeah, it was perfect.
It was really perfect.
I kept thinking, I'm like, I feel like this was staged, but then you're like, no, he looked like he was pretty upset by that.
And then you hear, and then when you go back and like you listen to like the smack and everything, like that was a real smack. And you watch it like in slow motion, like you can also see Chris Rock like grabbing a fist. You know, in his head, he's like, I can't throw a punch on live television right now. Like I literally can't do this. I just have to eat this like a bitch and just move on.
He took that shit like a champ. You know what? Like
he did.
Like Will Smith, like it's like it's too sensitive on that. It's like, come on, man. It's a comedian's job. It's like he's gonna rip on everyone. He's gonna crack jokes. I was like, I know she has alopecia.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, whatever it is that makes her go bald or whatever. Or like,
but like she can rock the look without the hair. Like she's still like a beautiful woman, but is it really that like sensitive?
I just think the craziest thing is like you said, is like he was literally laughing at the joke, and then the next moment, all of a sudden, you see him walking up the stage, like he's gonna shake his hand. God damn it, I want to shake your hand, and then just fucking swings on him. Like it's nuts.
Yeah. That shit had me dying, man.
Dude, that was crazy. That was one of those moments you'll always remember where you were when that happened, just because it was just so absurd. It was just so absurd. It was Will Smith reminding everyone he's from Philly. That's what it really was.
It was kind of like when Kanye took over the show for Taylor Swift and
the VMAs.
Mm-hmm.
I think they just needed one of those. They just needed one of those.
Exactly. And it also opens up the door for Kanye to beat the shit out of Pete Davidson. So like maybe we have some fights coming up with all these celebrities.
They're probably like, "Hey guys, ratings are really low. We need to make something happen. Chris Rock, just make some fun. Just do something about Will Smith. Like guys, talking out and everything. Just because I'm serious. Like he walked up to him, he was like, "Whap!"
It was nuts, dude. It was absolutely nuts. Oh, we lost him. Oh, there we go.
There you go. I don't know. So I just got like a random like a Zoom call, and they just like booted me out.
That's weird, man. I don't know. Technology is weird. It sucks all at the same time. But all right, let's just go on and get into this. We're just gonna use that part. That was just good part. But let's go on and just 3, 2, 1, pop. We are joined by a very special guest, even though this is like now 5 minutes into the interview. But we're joined by Julio Arce, my man. What's up? How we doing?
Yeah, man. I'm feeling freaking good. Like 2 weeks away. It's this last hard week of training, and then next week is fight week. So I can't wait for that.
So before we get into the fight and everything, I figured that I found something out about you. I didn't know. You're a Florida man. When did you do you still have, does a Florida man come out of you any now and then, or are you officially now a New Yorker and just kind of just an asshole?
I think since I was born there, and I think since I've just been living in like New York now pretty much my entire life, it's more like I'm more New Yorker, but like to me, like I was born in Florida and I lived there for quite some time when I was a little kid. So it's There's a little Florida man in there.
Gotta have a little bit of a Florida man in you. You gotta let
Yeah.
it out. It's a scary thing that people know about your Florida man. Like, oh shit, I don't know. He could do something crazy. You just never know. But like, let's talk about the fight. I just had to ask about that. But you're like, we're doing this the Monday before, 2 Mondays before, whatever. Is it just like, are you motivated even more and just kind of training harder just based off like the fact of what happened the last time you were out against Song Yadong?
Absolutely, man. It's like I look back and I'm like, that Song Yadong fight, I mean, like, look, he won fair and square, but I think for me, like, I didn't show up the way I want to show up. And when I started getting going, he had already beaten me to the punch, and dude just freaking took me out. But I'm like, and it was for me, it was a quick turnaround to go into that fight. For this time, I got a full fight camp, so like I'm just ready to go, man. Like now it's on.
Well, was he the hardest hitter you've ever fought?
That motherfucker hit hard.
I figured that was one of the things he's notorious for, but yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Well, if you went back, going back to the fight, if there's anything you would have changed, obviously other than the knockout, like what would you have changed in terms of like maybe the game plan or how the fight went out?
Like, it wasn't even the game plan. It's like for me, I just started really slow. And I think and this happens to a lot of fighters. Like sometimes like you just hit like a point when you're fighting, it's like you got to get yourself up to fight this person. And for me, it's like I got myself up to fight him too late. So he already had a head start ahead of me. So once he did, I'm like, fuck. Like, because I started second round, I started throwing, started opening up, but he was already ahead. And he beat me to the punch.
This is what happened. That's the game you play. I mean, to be fair too, it's also the first time you've ever been knocked out. And like MMA, you've been finished before, but that was the first time being knocked out. How intense was that first session back though? Like when you went back and did your first kickboxing session?
Honestly, like I just went back, like nothing happened. I was just ready to go. I'm like, let's get this shit right. It's like, let's get our mind right, and let's just go at it.
Now you got a new fight coming up. You're welcoming a newcomer, Daniel Santos. Good opportunity for you to, bounce back from the loss. What are you looking forward to most in this fight? Like, what have you seen so far with Daniel Santos that like you're looking to take advantage?
Well, look, he's like one of that. He's coming in hungry as a UFC debut, even though he hasn't been active for like
3
2 years.
He hasn't been active since 2019.
Yeah, but he's definitely been training because like, I'm guessing whatever is going on in Brazil with COVID and all these lockdowns, who knows probably what, wasn't letting him, and whatever protocols they had set over there, who knows, probably why he hasn't been able to fight. But I know that through that time, he definitely wasn't just like sitting back and just doing whatever. It's like he was trained because he was supposed to fight, I think, Timur Valiev as his debut.
Yeah.
But then that got canceled. So now he's fighting me. So for me, like I'm looking to go in there with just more vicious aggression. I'm looking to come back strong. And like I'm not gonna let him use me as a stepping stone. I'm looking to go in there. I'm looking to take this fight to him and get back on the winning column.
I fucking love this. Last time we talked, you're a little more uppy, a little more positive. Like I like hearing this like badass out of you. You sound real determined. I love to hear it. And it's like seeing the tape and things like that. It sounds like you're looking to kind of stand up a little bit. But this is also the first time you're gonna be fighting in front of fans since like 2019. So not only are you returning, but you also get the fans again, which is awesome. In Florida.
And it's a fucking stacked card, dude. It looks amazing. It's an amazing card. So like, it's kind of like when we fought in MSG, this freaking stack card, and I'm so freaking thrilled to be part of it, and I just can't wait to go out there and just freaking literally fight my heart out. That's what I'm looking to do. Just like leave it all out there. It's now I kind of went back into like my teammate Shane, who crazy motherfucker. I love that dude, but he fights with like a no fucks giving attitude, and that's pretty much what I'm kind of going in there with. Like. Honestly, it's like, I don't give a fuck. I'm looking to get my hand raised in victory, but I'm looking to just leave it all out there. Like, that's it. Like, wherever this fucking goes, this is where it's going to go.
And people love Burgos for that too. So like, again, like that's a fan-friendly style too. You get a fight of the night, you get a performance bonus. But again, that's why we love Shane. He just doesn't give a fuck, goes out there, fights his fight, throws down, throws hands.
Yeah, exactly.
The Tiger Schulman way.
Exactly.
So I want to talk about Tiger Schulman a little bit. I know, like, obviously you're one of the co-owners in the Bayside area. Do people still come into do they ever come into Tiger Schulman still thinking like All right. Are you guys really that great at this? Like, do people still come in who have like no experience, like sign waivers and all that, like they did back in the day?
You know what? Like we don't get that. We don't get that anymore because I think people now have an understanding. I think also since MMA has evolved the way it has, I think people now have a little more respect for it. And as like back then, people didn't know about it, so be like, oh, let me see what you guys have. They'll come in, then we have to like, all right, sign the waiver, and we kick the shit out of them, and then like, all right, and then they'll be like, oh shit, it's like you guys are legit, right? It's like you guys are legit. I'm like, yeah, dude, what the fuck do you think we're doing in here? But now, no, people come in, people know who we are. People like, I think we've established now a point where it's like, we are just like we've been all along, but it's like people are saying, holy shit, these guys are like they're legitimate martial arts school, right? That's when back then people are like, oh, it's like like commercial, McDojo, that bullshit. No, we've been legitimate from the beginning, and now people are seeing it. So everyone that comes in, they come in very respectful. And like, even if they had previous experience, they'll be like, I heard about you guys, like I want to come in and train. And everyone's just so much more respectful. It's a whole different like atmosphere now.
It's like the as MMA becomes more and more mainstream, it seems like people are getting more respectful and a lot more interested. So I'm assuming like signups and things like that for Tiger Showman will also have gone up as like MMA has just kind of evolved into the mainstream.
Yeah, man. I mean, look, even like during the whole pandemic, we kept it going. We were like, yo, people can't work out. People are stuck in their houses. People are this. I'm like, yo, guys, come in and train. Come in and freaking train. It's like you're stressed out. You want to come in and train. It's like you're vaccinated. You're on vaccine. Come in and train. You want to wear a mask? You want to come in and freaking train. We want you to be healthy. We want you to keep going. It's like we want you to be cooped up and be scared out of your mind. It's like just come in and freaking train, dude. Whatever you want. And like we laid it out so everybody can get training. Everyone's comfortable. And it's like we just kept it going.
So one thing I've learned about like these gyms and things like that is there's a lot of people who come in, and you like to say about 1% actually go into these gyms with the intent to fight. How many people would you say are like at Tiger Schulman's or like at these gyms that could like legitimately compete in MMA and like actually do well? Like, is there people like you're trying to push to do it that just don't have that desire?
You know what? We talked about this. The 1%, we have we have kids that compete. We actually have this one of the students in our school. His name is Ryan Sipavicius. He's been trained since he was 3 years old, and 22, 23 now. And now he's 2-0 as an amateur. Like he's so skilled, and he wants to take it that far. He's that 1%. There's other people who just want to compete and get good, but they don't want to take it to that level. So, but we don't push it. It's like, because there's the people that go like, yeah, I want to fight, I want to do this. And you're like, all right, you got to put in this type of work. They're like, it's like you see that, it's like they say they want to fight, but they don't really want to do that kind of work. But then there's the people that just show up, train. We'll be like, yo, we got a competition coming up. It's like, yeah, I'll be in it. And next, it's like, oh, they'll come up. It's like, I want to be able to fight. And you'll be like, nice, awesome. We'll get you a fight. We'll get you ready. Like, there's no pressure on anybody. Like, if they want to fight, they'll train their ass off to fight. If they don't want to fight, it's like, we're not pushing anybody. But we always do encourage people to compete because that's how you get good. I mean, you don't just want to be the best one in the gym. You want to be the best one all around. Like when you go out and compete, gain experience, pass down that knowledge, and just keep getting better. That's it.
It's a martial art. You got to learn, you got to evolve, you got to compete, you got to showcase your skills. You can't get better without actually competing. Eventually, you're going to figure out everyone's skill set. You're going to figure out like different tendencies, moves, things like that. But that's what you do too. You kind of travel around and work out at different gyms, like kickboxing gyms, things like that, which is great being where you're at too. Because like you're in New York, there's got to be gyms literally everywhere for you guys to go out and like cross train.
Yeah, and we have like our coach, Tiger, he'll bring outside work. He'll take us to boxing gyms. He'll take us to other gyms. He'll be like, we got these guys coming in today. So it's like, we're getting like different looks from different people, and it's just great work. Even where they're just jujitsu, where they're just wrestling, where they're just kickboxing, boxing's like, it's outside work that helps out a lot.
This is those different looks again, because like when you're going into a cage, you're never going to fight this. More than likely, you've never fought this guy before. You've only seen things on tape. That's really the only way you can really prepare yourself for is just kind of go into different looks and things like that. Because more than likely, no matter what you see on tape, you're probably going to see something different when it actually comes to fight night.
Yeah, it's a whole different level there.
It's a whole different level there. So we were talking about this at the very beginning. I have a quick question about Will Smith's punch. If you had to rate it on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate his form, technique, things like that?
It's like a 1.5.
Really? 1.5?
Back. You know, the perfect person to ask that would be Nate Diaz, since he's the one known to slap some people. It's like he's like, you have to ask, like, what'd you rate that?
You probably rate it a 1 because he didn't go for the finish.
Yeah,
well, he didn't point. He didn't point. That's the real days where you throw the smack and then you give him a little point.
Yeah, it was like Chris Rock like turned with that and he was just like, "Ooh, that was it." Like nothing major.
And he just walked away too. I thought I just one last thing about the whole Will Smith thing. I just gotta say this. It just blows my mind. Like if you get smacked in the face in live television, just like the wherewithal to not throw back, because they just like the human instinct is just to throw back. It's remarkable. The fact that he didn't throw a punch, like it's just remarkable.
he rolls with it. Like he was like, wow, that was one of the best moments in like television history ever. I was like, good recovery.
And it's just like the people who are like the production trucks too, like having to like bleep out everything too, had to be like a fire night because Will Smith was screaming so loud. I mean, that shit's crazy. It's crazy.
And it was probably like, dude, really? Like you get upset. You're just laughing like 2 seconds ago. You just laugh until your wife looked at you and were like, oh shit,
I gotta stand up for her real quick. All right, so Julio, as you can tell, I have a new friend here. He's my intern Harry, and this is where he asks a series of questions. It's like a game. It's a levels thing.
Yeah.
So if you like the question, we move on to the next one. But if you don't like the question, you have to tell him that, and then we wrap this thing up. So he's gonna roll in with the Will Smith question. So Harry, go ahead with your first question.
Yeah, as you said, getting started with the last Will Smith question of the day. So what do you think Will Smith could do to improve his form on that smack? So, get a little bit more impact, maybe even better television.
Maybe wobble him a little bit,
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever seen like those people, I think it's like in Russia, like those guys will like smack each other.
Yes.
Oh my God.
They get all the way into it.
Like they're wind up, they're like touch the wow, like until they like go out. Like put that kind of force behind it, yeah. But it was like,
it was more the quick motion of it because it was like a quick turn of the shoulder and just a downward slap.
You could hear his grunt too, like he was putting force into it too. Like you could hear like, ugh, and then it's like, oh.
Yeah, you ever seen old school cartoons? It's like they're like a butlers. They take off their glove and then slap the other.
Yeah.
Like if it was, I was like. Just like slap him with it, but it was just like it's like.
Yeah, it was too good. All right, so moving on, question number 2. I hear you're a big anime guy. So, which non-overpowered character from any anime do you think would be best at like UFC MMA? Because obviously, any OP one would just walk in and do some crazy shit and win. But yeah.
Non-powered anime character. You know what? If you put my man Yamcha from Dragon Ball Z in there, the one that gets a bad rap for dying every time, I feel he would hold his own.
I love some Yamcha. So Yamcha over Krillin?
Yeah,
got the distance.
Because Yamcha gets so much shit for dying. Like he dies every fucking time without fail. He gets his ass kicked. And I'm like, you know what? Let's give him a shot. Let's give him a shot to, like prove himself. Like Krillin at least he's okay. Yamcha's like, my man is like, he got killed by a freaking like little green or some shit. Like.
He's like the Kenny from South Park, but in Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. Oh my God, they killed Yamcha. You bastards. Question number 3. So if you could take any like main character's power set from anime and transition that into your fighting style, who would you take?
Yeah, I would take my man Luffy for One Piece. He's
the stretchy.
stretch. He can expand his freaking hands, turn them into steel. Shit, that dude, like, and you look at him, he's like this thin, but he's super crafty.
You could just be standing in one corner, just like opposite your
extending
opponent.
my arm, blowing up my foot as big as I can, just freaking stomp somebody out.
Take a whole new definition of curb stomping.
You could only choke him out with one hand if you really wanted to, and just like extend your arm, like loop around
wrap
him.
it around.
Yeah.
That'd be the ultimate submission. That'd be perfect. Question number 4. So Colombia's national football team, they have their important qualifying coming up. What do you think is necessary for them to succeed in order to make the World Cup?
You know what? Haven't kept up with like the whole soccer scene lately, so I'm not really sure about that one. I'm not sure about that one, like the whole qualifying thing. Haven't kept up with it as much as I should have.
Fair enough. And, last question. Do you think James Rodriguez can come back to form? Because he's been off form recently. But it's James Rodriguez, and he's the main man for Colombia, has been since 2014. Do you think he can regain his skills and pull something out of his hat like he did at the World Cup?
I think so. I feel like lately a lot of athletes, I think with all those social media stuff that goes on, it's like it does bother him. It does bother him. Like he has like millions of followers, like the weight of like, like all of Colombia is like behind him, and he's like their star child, their fucking poster child. So in the moments like he messes up, people start already like counting him out. But look, like that's just part of it. It's like you're gonna have good games, you have bad games, and then next thing you know, all of a sudden you just change everything and like you're gonna take off. I think he'll be fine. He'll come back.
Absolutely. I hope so. I've loved watching James play, like him at Real and Bayern. But that World
Cup he run was unreal. Like the way he was playing was unreal. It was just stupid.
Controlling that ball off of his chest and volleying it out from 30 yards, just nuts.
Like it's easy for many people to just criticize them and count them out and all that stuff. But it's like when you're in it, I mean, think about how many people will be able to do that under the pressure of everything that's behind it. You have you have all of Colombia behind you. And then it's like, you're in that stadium, you gotta perform. It's like you gotta let all that out. Like that's just not easy for so a lot of athletes, but they do it. I mean, the average person be like, "Fuck this, I'm going home."
Exactly. You get the chance to represent any country at the national stage. You feel that pressure, and it's like, "Fuck, can I do this?"
Do you feel more pressure like representing Tiger Schulman or representing Colombia when you fight?
Honestly, like at certain points, it does. Like, I don't feel that pressure. I used to feel in a little bit in the beginning, but not anymore because, like, I'm going out there and putting literally my body on the line, and I'm representing, and like whoever I'm representing, it doesn't matter. It's like I'm going out there and I'm doing the work when most people can't do that. Like, I actually was having a conversation with somebody because it was about pain threshold. It's like, we're in jiu-jitsu, we're gonna buy like our limbs twisted, wrestling, we're like getting slammed, we're doing this, we're kickboxing, we're boxing, and like we're like kicking the shit out of each other for a long period of time. We've been doing this now for years. And then somebody like will jam their finger and it puts them into like, I can't come into work for like a month because like this happened. And when for us, like we jam our fingers, like, you got some tape? All right, tape them on. We just keep going. So it's like our pain threshold is so differently that we're just like, whatever. We go out there and we do. Most people like they stub their toe, like, can't come in. I stubbed my toe really bad. It's swollen. I can't walk. This, that. It's crazy. It's crazy.
People tear their ACLs, MCLs, things like that, and then they'll still go out there and throw kicks, shoot takedowns, and all that kind of stuff. Like it's the pain threshold's out of this world.
Yeah, it's like, every CL in your knee is missing, like your leg is missing, and they're like, I'm fine. Give me a little tape, and I'll be fine.
I'll be fine. Or do like the Ngannou thing where you just put like the knee sleeve on, that like that shit for being 265 pounds and then doing that shit. Wild. This is crazy, crazy.
So
I swear, like tape. It's the cure all for everything. I swear.
Tape and ice.
Tape and ice.
It's like even in anything, like when something breaks, like a piece of your car falls out, you're like, yo, let's put some tape on that. You're like, just hold it.
Your trunk
Like,
just wide open. You just like duct tape the shit out of it, you know? Oh, we have something hanging out of the back of the car. Got to travel with it. Duct tape it real quick, you know? It won't fall
Like,
out.
It was like, yeah, you got some tape? Yeah. Tape.
It's crazy,
Nothing.
man. It's crazy. No, and also like, the other thing about the pain tolerance too is like not only are you guys like throwing strikes, all the other kind of stuff, isn't like the canvas itself. Like if you fall in a certain way, you're gonna fucking get like, is there like what even is the surface technically? Isn't can you like a burn from it, like falling on a certain way, moving a certain way on it? Because I know it's a little coarse.
Like a wrestling mat kind of thing, or
You know what? No,
the octagon.
It's like it's a different material. It's not like like wrestling mats or anything.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of a rough surface. So it's like you kind of burn your knee up on that a little, or you burn your toes if you do a bad shot. But it's like the thing is we don't feel it until after.
You don't feel it till a long time after. Once the adrenaline comes down a little bit.
Adrenaline comes down, you're like, oh, my fucking arms, my legs.
that's the worst part. You'll be going in the moment and you feel like you're invincible. Then 10 minutes, 13 minutes later, it's like, fuck, son of a bitch. That actually hurts.
Do you ever get like back burn or anything when you were in there, or like not even back burn? I don't think you've really been on your back that much. But like when you're wrestling, like do you ever get like bad burns like a couple days later, like, oh shit, dude, that's red as hell?
Yeah, you'll take like a shower and you're like, oh, what the hell is that? And then you look at you like, oh shit, when did I get that? Like when we get like cage bruises, like the just cuts from the cage or whatever, you're taking a shower, you're like, oh, and like you put on something, like this shit burns. What the hell is that?
It's those little things that like we kind of forget. It's like you watch like WWE wrestling and things like that. You see the mat and everything's kind of like bouncy. It's really not too hard. The octagon's like actually, rough. It's like,
no springs underneath the floor in the octagon. Nothing like that.
No.
No, not at all. Not even close. Not even close. All right, I have one more question before we wrap this thing up. How many people have reached out to do media interviews with you? I'm hoping a lot still.
I've gotten a couple people to reach out for it, but I only done like very few. Like to me, it's always like the same. It's always the same questions.
It is always the same questions. Yeah,
it is always the same questions, and I'll just be like, politely, I'm like, it's like nah, because it's like they want like a certain time, and like for me, like my time is like gold to me. So like I got everything set. So like wake up, go train. I got to drive back, come to my school. I'm teaching all day. And I just keep, like I do that every day. And I tell them, I'm like, I need this time. They're like, oh, can we do it later at night? I'm like, no. It's like, this is my only time available to do it. And they're like, is there any other way? Can you make it happen? I'm like, nope. It's like, I can't. Sorry. Like this is the only time I have available.
So like, how's the next time? That's like, what is your time frame of being at the gym? Is it like 7 a.m. to like 12 and then you have this little break and then you go back until the rest of the night?
No, for me, like I'm driving from Queens to New Jersey, so like our training starts at 10. We go until like 1:30. Then I literally have like I shower, I go stop at this little place called Vicarios by our training area. Great freaking food, and I'll have a meal, kind of chat with the guys a little bit. I have like 25 minutes to do that, then bounce and go straight to Queens. Cause then if I go at the wrong time, I get on the cross Bronx, the traffic's always insane. So it's like, I eat, chill for a little bit, go get some food, and then just try to get back. And then I just start my day teaching.
So how long do you teach then? How long do you teach them? Like from when to when?
I'm teaching from 3:00 until 9:30 at night, but my classes go back to back. So I just literally go one after the other, and there's literally no break. And I love it because it keeps like my day's busy. Like there's no lag, there's no wait time, and there's no like, all right, let me what do we do now? It's like, no, it's like there's always something to do.
You have a schedule. You have a schedule to keep going. Like that is the one thing that sucks for me. Is like I'll have to be like, all right, I gotta edit this by whatever day it comes out. And then it's like, well, I can do that whenever I want. So what am I going to do right now? That's kind of I get that though. I was just kind of curious about that because I tell this to the guys that we have on multiple times. Like you are officially a friend of the program, recurring guest.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happens. You're always welcome on the show before a fight. I don't care if you lose. I don't care if you win. You're always welcome back. That is the guys we like. We always offer that to you guys.
My man, thank you.
I appreciate you. No, you're always a good time to talk to. So before we let you go, obviously you got the fight coming up. Is there anything else you want to promote other than that?
No, honestly, I just thank everybody. I have a merch drop that just dropped. It's like the last week to get you go on facemeetsfist.com. I got some merch that dropped. Get you some
sweet. It's pretty sweet.
Yep. And just show some support. That's it. On that, thank you, everybody. I love everybody.
Absolutely. Love to hear it, my man. So for us, for Julio, see you guys. Always great talking with Julio Arce. But anyway, let's go on and get into our winners and losers of the week. I'll go with my first winner. My first winner is WWE Sells. If you don't know what that is, pretty much is like when you see a move done by a wrestler, the other guy like has to sell it. Like Stone Cold Steve Austin does a stunner.
Yeah.
The guys have to like jump in the air and all that other shit. But anyway, there were literally polar opposites. He had one of the best sells of all time. When Stone Cold stunned the fuck out of Austin Theory. Oh, by the way, the only reason I watched any of this was because of Pat McAfee. I used to like wrestling growing up, but anyway. And then they had the worst sell of all time. Vince McMahon got kicked in the gut. He literally fell over, and as Austin's trying to pick him up to stun him, he backs up to the fucking ropes, and then he gets stunned by Stone Cold, but it looked like he was dead.
Yeah,
but
Vince has never been good at selling those.
Well, when he was younger, he was better. When he was younger, he was better. But he's like 76. When he was like in his tank top wrestling McAfee, that was some of the funniest shit. But no, that was entertaining. That was like for someone who turned in for like 30 minutes, I turned in for like that was worth it. But anyway, WWE Sells huge winners this week. So Harrison, your first winner.
So my first winner is Joel Embiid because an article about him was recently released on ESPN, and holy shit, he might be the Cardale Jones 2.0. They were interviewing the Sixers assistant coaches, and apparently he likes to hang out with the coaches because he's a big team guy, and this coach has 4 young children. And so Joel whipped out his PlayStation in the middle of the living room and purposely put it on the big TV so everybody could see how bad he was whipping these children in Madden. And the assistant coach said apparently one of the games was like 98-6. So I feel like we've got another Cardale Jones story going on.
All of the
I want to see Joel play some videos. Yeah,
but like
exactly.
It's like by saying 2.0 is like not doing enough justice. Like he is literally everyone knows who Joel Embiid is. If you watch basketball, you literally know who Joel Embiid is. Like not many people know Cardale Jones, but like everyone knows Joel Embiid. If I can hear him like beating the shit out of some cancer kid like 98-7 in the hospital, oh my god, I need the process like that.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go ahead into our losers. I have a great loser at the very end, which I'll get into it. I'm gonna get my first loser, which is TikTok commenters. So if you're on TikTok, you might notice what I'm talking about is like every time you go into the comment section, usually like, okay, let's see what fried shit you're gonna see. Now it's like, who cares? Here's a brownie recipe. Like, fuck you. No, I don't want to see a fucking brownie recipe. I want to see what fried shit these people are saying. But
crop. Like all of them. They get some original content and bring back the TikTok comments like it used to be. I don't want to be scrolling through my feed and see the brownie recipe and the crop and another brownie recipe right underneath the first brownie recipe.
These kids suck. It's not funny. Yeah. It's not funny. I want to see people with funny comments. Like it's like when the Wentz like commenter dude, which literally went on every single like every sports post. He doesn't matter what it was. It was like Carson Wentz Philly stats, and it's like it was funny at first, but then after a little bit, you're like, oh, dude, shut the fuck up. I don't want to have that be like one of the first things I see. So
honestly, it reminds me of when Barry McCockiner on Twitter was like at his peak.
Oh, he was so funny.
He was so funny.
Oh,
and then
God.
But then the shtick got old, and he had to keep making new accounts, and it was like, all right, buddy, give it up already.
We had some pretty good peak McCockiner. The peak McCockiner was when he was getting like a bunch of blue checks. Everything he posted, people would fall for it, and it was just prime time McCockiner. Yeah.
Summer 2018, we had him and who was that? Oh, it was that one dude, the Georgia sports fan on Twitter, the four-year
For your
Letterman.
Letterman.
Yeah, 4-year Letterman. That was prime Twitter, man.
Those parody accounts, they're not the same as they used to be. Twitter's cracked down on them.
Yeah, and the Stephen A. Smith parody account.
It's not really even a burner anymore. It's more or less just his account, which he's kind of come out and said. Which, I mean, it is what it is. You built your audience. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
All props to him though. But anyway, Harrison, you're a loser.
Yeah, my first loser is Lakers fans because
Yes.
they had the Braun airball. It looks like the Cowboys are kind of falling apart. At least they have the Yankees to look forward to now, but Duke's out of the NCAA tournament. Like, the Cowboys fans, they've had a rough week. Lakers fans have had a rough week. They're all one and the same, so hug your local Lakers, Duke, Cowboys, Yankees fan.
Send them a text.
They need one right now.
Send them a text.
Send them a text.
Send them some love. Which actually leads to my first winner, my last winner. It's America. Coach K lost. It was great. It was fantastic. It was everything you could expect out of a Coach K loss to end his retirement tour. They didn't shake hands. He tried to make himself be better than Amanda Bangkok by like going over them, like touching him in the gut or whatever. Like, I don't know. Like, It was just the most classic Coach K loss to make it like not all about him and how it was everyone else's fault. But you heard I don't know if I've said this on the show. I have listened to a lot of people who are close to that situation come out and pretty much say, this will not be the last time we see Coach K. He will be back. It's just a matter of how we see it or when it actually happens. We will see Coach K back on the floor as a coach. This isn't it. He's going to be more about himself. Don't you worry. Don't you worry. So that is my big winner this week. America has been back and forth. Last week we were losers because Coach K made the Final Four, but we're winners. He lost. The game tonight may not be good, or as we're listening, like Kansas beat the fucking piss out of North Carolina. Yeah, that's my last winner. Harrison, your last winner.
My last winner is very similar to that. My last winner is college basketball because not only do we not have to deal with Coach K in the final of his final season with quotes around it, but we also get to see. We've seen so much good college basketball over this last month. It's just all culminating tonight, the end of March Madness, and that just makes college basketball the big winner.
The one thing that sucks is that this is we're getting close. That means we're also getting closer to the end of the NBA. And once the NBA is over, we're in the summer times of just nothing really.
Yeah,
it's just fighting and baseball, and I don't care about baseball in the middle of the summer. Like that's the last time I care about baseball.
Yeah.
Right.
Wait, we're not getting the no. I was thinking of the Olympics. That was last year. We have basically baseball, UFC.
We don't have the World Cup until the winter or the fall.
Yeah, If the World Cup was the summer, at least that'd be something to break up the monotony.
Would have been perfect, but it is what it is. All right, Harrison, your last loser.
My last loser is the Grammys because they didn't have anything like the slap.
No, they didn't.
On a night where WrestleMania is going on, where basketball is being played, hockey being played, you think that the Grammys would need something big to get, a prime audience reaction or viewers, because it's mainly just like the diehard fans of the artists performing who are going to tune in, and maybe not even for that long. And they didn't have anything that would like stir up some controversy. Like, it was boring.
Yeah,
it's just an award show.
Yeah, it's back to what it's back to what it usually is, and we're probably going to be stuck with that for a while now. But anyway, I've been saying I didn't want to do this as my first loser, but this is my biggest loser. So on Saturday night, went out to the bars, watched some games. I had like one beer at a bar, so like by the time I'm driving, I'm sober. Just want to point that out there. Don't drink and drive. Anyway, just routine 4-way stop. I'm like, all right. I see this guy zooming in on my right, and he's like, okay. I'm like, all right. He might go past. He doesn't. He stops. So then I proceed, and all of a sudden, he starts fucking blaring his fucking horn at me and starts following me, flashing his blinkers at me. I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, all right. I'm just gonna hopefully just keep turning, and maybe he'll follow me. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, he keeps following me. I get to this intersection, and this dude comes out of the car, and I look over. And he's a cracked out fucking trailer trash, like, dude. Like, it's just like the most, if you think of trailer trash, white trash, this is the guy. He just bangs on my window, says something. I don't know what he said. And I'm just like, I don't know, dude. And then he goes back and tries to like pull on my truck handle, like to pull my door down, which is already broken. So like, God bless, that thing was broken. And then he gets back into his car. So I'm like, all right, like, you think that's over, right? You think, okay, he did his thing, it's over. No, it got worse. And so then I pull out. and he keeps following me. And then eventually I do a couple turns, I lose him for a little bit. Then I'm on like this one street, and I was actually on the phone with the cops at this point. I called the cops because this guy was like blaring his horn louder and was really close to us. And so I'm on the phone with the cops, and they're like, "Don't get off the phone. Just like sit with us for a second. He might try to find you again." I'm like, "All right, cool." Little do I know, here he comes speeding down the road.
Oh my god!
And he's just like, and he's honking louder and all the other stuff. I'm like, all right, he's back. And they're like, all right, go to like a main area where like, go to like a place where, go back to like where you were at in Broderpool, and like they'll like, there's a bunch of cops there. Like it'll be good. I'm like, all right. So I start making my way there, but then there's this one little point, this road where there's like no lights. And the guy can like pull around, and he's in the process of pulling around. I'm like, holy shit, he might have a gun. And the office, and there's people yelling in the background. The operators told me to tell this one dude to shut up, and I've told him to shut up like 7,000 times. And as this guy's like starting to come around, I'm in the office. I'm like, dude, he's coming around. He might have a fucking gun. He's like, sir, you're not gonna die. I'm like, what? No, I don't want to hear that right now. I don't want to hear about death. And so anyway, I go faster. Luckily for me, I had the lights were good. I did all this other stuff. I kept avoiding him. Then I parked in front of this bar, this like venue here in Indy called the Vogue, and I just parked there, put my flashers on. Like, it takes the guy a second because he stops a little bit of distance. He stops, and then he looks over and sees cops and does a U-turn and gets away. But yeah, this guy just kept fucking following me, and I had someone telling me, "You're not going to die, sir." I'm like, "What?" And then I found out later on, one of my friends says, "Yeah, when he started following us the first time, I gave him the finger." I'm like, "That wasn't a good idea." And then there's some other things it was just, that was one of the weirdest moments. Like, I wasn't really scared until the guy started saying, "You're not going to die." And I started seeing this guy like trying to like fucking like side by side shoot me. I don't know what was going on. He is trailer trash, so like literally anything was possible. But
Holy
that
shit.
that I was a loser this weekend. So were my friends. Don't drink and drive.
Wow.
Don't do drugs and drive. Because this guy was he just looks like a fucking straight out of a trailer.
Cracked out of his mind.
Yeah, cracked out, drunk, all that other kind of stuff. But
yeah,
I was up
Holy
pretty late
shit,
that
dude.
night. I just ended up I made a couple bourbons and Coke and watched some Shrek and eventually passed out.
That's
And we also watched Drake and
Josh.
Josh.
Kind of thing.
We watched like Drake and Josh
Drake
and
Josh
yeah,
is
we were just
shit.
like, what's some like dumb shit in the past that we could watch just to get our mind off of this. But no, that my Saturday night was very eventful. I'm glad to know that it probably will never happen again. But yeah, that was crazy. That was crazy. So let's go on into shout outs. Shout out us. We got t-shirts now and we got hats. Coming soon. I'm getting them coming. I'm getting my own personal order in coming right now. Try them out, see if I like it a lot, and then eventually we'll get them out. But they look sweet. They're slick. They're nice. So be on the lookout for that. Might be sending freebies to some people, but shout out us. We got shirts. Harrison, you have a shout out.
Yeah, shout out my liver for being an asshole this weekend because I went out drinking Friday night. Got pretty banged up. Nothing too bad. But I was also an idiot and forgot to eat on Saturday before I went into work. So my hangover just lasted the entire weekend.
You didn't eat while you worked?
No, I was working in the speakeasy part, and it's a lot harder to get some food in during that time because I'm working with an iPad and like getting people their reservations set.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it wasn't as easy as door staffing or bartending to eat during, but yeah. Yeah, so fuck you, liver.
Livers this weekend took a toll on both of us. Except mine was a little bit different and wasn't me directly.
Much different.
It was someone else that's liver was really suffering at that time. That's all I got for shout outs. A shout out like Bellator for publicly just like not advertising at all McKee versus Pitbull. Like that's probably the biggest fight outside the UFC to make. And I haven't seen a single fucking thing about it.
I haven't seen shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's fucking nuts. Like it's the most Bellator thing possible to have a fight that I think a lot of people who usually don't watch Bellator would watch. They haven't done anything for it. It does. I don't get it. And I mean, like if you're AJ, I mean, you got to be thinking more about maybe leaving. Like they're not doing a good job promoting. Like that's promote. Like Dana White would be talking about this fight like months ago. Like every single time he had an opportunity to even speak about it, he'd speak about it. They'd be pushing so many videos about it. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing, but shout out Bellator for continuing to be Bellator. Congrats.
Well, AJ is probably going to go to UFC after he defends this one more time.
Well, he has 3 more fights.
3 more fights?
3 more fights. And then his dad and UFC have a bad history. We'll see. I don't know.
That's true.
That's whatever.
But-
All right, Harrison, you have any more shout outs?
Nah.
Yeah.
Just shout out to Coach K for fucking losing.
Yeah, shout out
That's
Coach
it.
K. And shout out everyone who's not going to try to get into the NBA now that the NBA is wrapping up. And now the college basketball's over. So shout out to that. And then shout out us too, again, because everyone's going to want to watch UFC and things like that once we get after the basketball season. So picking up. So anyway,
Yes, sir.
that's the show. Friday, we're going to have at least the Matt Frivola, the Steamroller, and Chaz Kelly's going to come on and help us with the card preview. So got a big show coming Friday, and that's what we got for you guys on Friday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around with me all the way to the end. I just want to once again thank the sponsor of the show, Living.Fit. If you're looking to better yourself, make sure you go to download the app or visit the website Living.Fit today.